Last year, my sister Sarah dropped a bombshell that reverberated through our family like a seismic event. She was cheating on Mark, her husband of 10 years, the father of her 3 beautiful children. The news hit me like a punch to the gut. Sarah and Mark had always seemed so stable. Sure, there were whispers, little undercurrents of tension, but nothing that screamed infidelity. Her justification? A litany of complaints. Mark had let himself go, was a slacker around the house, and couldn't seem to hold down a job. While I could understand her frustrations, Mark had become a bit of a homebody, his ambitions seemingly replaced by a comfortable inertia. Cheating was never, ever the answer. The irony, however, wasn't lost on me. Sarah had actually asked him to quit his string of jobs a few years back. Her income as a travel nurse, jetting across the country for lucrative contracts, dwarfed his, and someone needed to be home with the kids. It was a practical decision, or so they'd said at the time. But now, it felt like a convenient excuse. And then there was the hypocrisy. Sarah, too, had gained weight over the years, a fact she'd conveniently ignored. It wasn't until she met him, the man she was sleeping with, that she suddenly discovered a renewed interest in fitness, joining a gym and embarking on a rigorous workout routine. I gave her 3 months. 3 months to confess to Mark, to own her actions, to try and salvage what was left of their marriage. I couldn't stand by and watch her place all the blame on him, painting herself as the victim of his shortcomings. It felt dirty. Summer arrived, scorching and unforgiving, and with it, the deadline. Her confession never came. Each passing day felt like a betrayal in itself, a slow erosion of trust, not just between Sarah and Mark, but between me and my own sister. The weight of her secret pressed down on me, a suffocating burden. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I became the reluctant messenger, the bearer of devastating news. It was agonizing to tell Mark, to witness the light in his eyes dim and then extinguish completely. But witnessing his tears, a raw, gut-wrenching display of pain I'd never seen from him, was even more devastating. He confronted Sarah, the air between them thick with unspoken accusations and shattered promises. Afterwards, he packed a bag and moved in with his parents, the silence in their usually bustling house deafening. Sarah, in a predictable move, blocked me on every platform imaginable. Phone, social media, everything. It stung, a sharp personal rejection. But the real blow came a few weeks later, when I discovered, through a casual conversation with my Aunt Carol, that my entire family had known about the affair all along. They had known, and no one had breathed a word to Mark. Their silence wasn't just complicity, it felt like a calculated betrayal, a collective decision to protect Sarah at Mark's expense. A few weeks later, at a strained and awkward family barbecue, Sarah cornered me in the backyard, her eyes blazing with anger. "Why did you snitch?" she hissed, the word dripping with venom. "Why did you tell our parents? You've ruined everything." I simply stared at her, the familiar cocktail of anger and disappointment churning in my stomach. "I told the truth," I finally said, my voice flat. "Someone had to—" She launched into a tirade, a litany of grievances against Mark, justifying her actions, painting herself as the wronged party. I listened, numb, the words washing over me like a cold shower. When she finally paused, breathless, I simply walked away. I was done. I couldn't engage with her self-deception any longer. The following day, my dad called. His voice was heavy, laced with disappointment. He talked about family loyalty, about how Sarah was my sister, about how, even if I knew, I should have kept my mouth shut. "Blood is thicker than water," he said, the old adage ringing hollow in the context of the situation. When I pressed him for his reasoning, asking him why he thought protecting Sarah's secret was more important than Mark's well-being, he evaded the question, his gaze shifting away. He mumbled something about family matters and keeping things private. I left without arguing, the familiar respect I had for my father eroding with every word he didn't say. It didn't matter. My family, the solid, unwavering unit I had always believed in, wasn't the family I thought I knew. Their silence, their complicity, their unwavering support of Sarah had revealed a fracture that ran deeper than I could have imagined. It wasn't just Sarah who had betrayed Mark. In their own way, they all had. And in that moment, I realized that the comfortable, predictable landscape of my family had irrevocably changed.